Well, welcome to the podcast. It is week 2 of preseason camp. Auburn about to have a big scrimmage this coming Saturday, their second scrimmage in which they'll figure out the depth chart, as we have written about plenty going into this scrimmage. But Auburn dealing with some injuries, Michael, going into this scrimmage, the biggest of which, and I would say for everybody standpoint, is Marlon Davidson, starting defensive end from last season, was a true freshman. Now he's a sophomore. He has got a knee brace on his left knee, and he is hobbling quite a bit. When we saw him at practice, he was not practicing, but he was at practice walking around, hobbling. That injury is very concerning. Also, T.J. Moultrie came back from an injury. He looks okay, the freshman linebacker. Then there's a new injury. Offensive tackle Calvin Ashley, the crown jewel of this recruiting class that just came in, 5-star offensive tackle. We'll talk more about him and how that might hurt his chances of even being able to contribute this upcoming season. And then, of course, Andrew Williams, defensive tackle, a guy that's really trying to work into that 2 deep. He was held out of practice.
With no discernible
didn't notice anything.
Injury signs. He was
so that could be anything. It could be concussion protocol. It could just be sickness.
Although
could be
somebody was talking on the boards, and Gus had said most of these injuries are not serious. So if it was a concussion, I think he would have used other work. Because if that gets out, I don't think he would have wanted something to be a concussion. To call it not serious, I know he's kind of coy with the media, but that'd be my guess. Andrew, he looked fine. He was joking around at practice, but Marlon, like you said, did not. He was very, and then they've said 1 to 2 days or whatever, and kind of called these not serious, but it didn't look like he's going to be back on the field by Saturday.
No, I don't think even if he does feel good, they would scrimmage him Saturday. They know what he can do, and they don't want to risk injury again, especially if it's to that knee, as it appears, that left knee.
I mean, you got a buffer, with a couple weeks left of camp. You got Georgia Southern first, so he has time to kind of get healthy before kind of you really need him. But I mean, I think with this defensive line, the focus is chemistry and kind of building that pass rush. It would be a setback, I think, if he were to miss sort of an extended period of time here, because that group is very new together with at least 2 new pieces up front, starting wise.
The good thing, though, if you want to say it's a good thing, is it maybe gives guys like Paul James III more opportunities to kind of practice and scrimmage with the first team, so Auburn can see what they have there. Obviously, he's a guy that was in line to start last season before he got hurt with a knee injury, and it was more serious than it appears for Marlon Davidson's injury right now, and that paved the way for Marlon Davidson. So now Paul James III gets more of an opportunity to maybe prove himself a little bit in this upcoming scrimmage.
Yeah, and I'm interested to see Calvin Ashley. It didn't look anything serious because, again, he didn't have a brace on or anything. But the more time he misses, you kind of get the feeling that he's not going to play this season. Just with it'd be easy to redshirt him if he misses an extended period of camp. There's no reason to kind of throw him into the lineup if he's out another week or 2, where he doesn't kind of get those reps with the guys. And T.D. Moultrie is a guy I'm interested to see what happens, just because he did miss at least 3, I think, practices. And he was a guy we kind of thought might, he's physically ready, but it's really tough when you miss some of camp and to just kind of come back. That's how, I know it's a different issue, but Woody Barrett's career got derailed when he couldn't do anything for 2 weeks. They just didn't see him, and then he got injured again. When you have those preseason camp injuries and you're a young guy, it kind of delays your development a little bit.
Nate Craig Myers last season.
Nate Craig Myers, too.
Had a hamstring issue, never really could bounce back and get back in the fold as much as that even the coaches were expecting.
Yeah, so, it makes a difference with these guys and these are not early enrollees, so they're fighting against time, basically. Time's their biggest enemy. They only have 2 weeks to impress a coach, whereas your Chandler Wooten or your guy Kenny Brett, you've been in the meeting rooms for extra time, you've been on the field a little bit, even though they've had some injuries, but they've kind of been in front of the coaches, where these other guys are still just kind of picking it up fresh. So
I think Calvin Ashley's going to end up redshirting.
Do you think so?
I think so. One, the injury, he's being held out for whatever reason. 2, not to say he was too far behind, but he had to drop some weight when he first got on campus, and then he's got to get used to that, and then he's got to get used to the offensive system. Maybe he works his way into the 3 deep if they need him, if their injuries happen. But I think at this point, you give him a year of development off the field. It's not a position
where they're scrambling for depth like safety, where you kind of sort of, what are we going to do?
You've got multiple guys.
It would be a disaster if they needed him this year. Needed him to play, because that would mean you're looking at 3-4 guys got injured.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think they'll be fine that position without him, and I think it'd be good for him to redshirt anyway as he deals with his new body, so to speak, as he tries to get into not playing shape, but in a shape where you're playing in the SEC and you can deal with the weight you're carrying and also handle with your own strength.